Welcome back to Focus Today. Steve Johnson here with you. And you know, in the news lately, there's been a lot of attention given to officers on the job. And I think you would say those who have criticized them, and a lot of people coming to the defense of officers saying, you know what, they need to have our support right now, even though there are a lot of people who are voicing otherwise. Quentin Tarantino, one of the more recent ones, who's voiced his displeasure with the police, and the backlash has been fairly significant. We have a guest with us who is a co-host of a radio show called California Connection. Her name is Maureen Ennor, and she has family who are police officers. Maureen, thank you for being with us. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you for having me.
Now tell me, your husband is an officer in California, right? Give me an idea. Where does he work? How big is the jurisdiction there?
My husband is a deputy sheriff in Alameda County, and he covers one of the most dangerous cities in all of the United States, Oakland, California. And he is a 19-year veteran.
I was going to ask you, 19 years in Oakland itself, in that area?
Yes.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. And you have, how long have you been married to him? Since all that time?
No, we've been married 2 years, and I've been with him for 4 years. But we went to high school together, so I've known him for a very long time.
I see.
And this is just his passion, and it always has been. And obviously, they're 19 years, so it's a good passion.
Now, for somebody like yourself and your husband also, I imagine that as an officer, you know, he can come out and say, look, we need to support people like myself on there. But for somebody like yourself, who is the spouse, that probably means so much more to have that kind of support coming. What do you see, if you were to summarize, what is the tension that you see right now in Oakland and other areas against police officers? Is it as widespread as we would tend to think it is, reading the news accounts?
Oh, absolutely. Probably even more. I mean, obviously, being married to a police officer, however you're related to a police officer, whichever way you're related, you always know the backstory. And the backstory is always worse than the front story, which is what the media portrays. Always.
I think I'll just kind of cut to the chase and summarize that a lot of this tension against police officers has really come from the Black Lives Matter type of a movement. I think there was an undercurrent there, but then that kind of brought it to the forefront. Other people saying, wait a minute, all lives matter. We've seen blue lives matter, and there's been a lot of people kind of coming from both sides saying this is an issue that needs to be dealt with, but each side is doing it wrong. Then we have Quentin Tarantino coming in and really pretty vitriolic from the podium, talking about how police are murderers, which I think this is the first time I've seen this elevated this high. When you saw that, what was your response?
Probably that was the ultimate. I would say that was, you never want to say that you're pushed over the edge. You never want to let them win. And I mean, when I say them, I mean anybody who's against the police. But that was, I would say, one of the worst things that I've ever seen. Directed towards our police.
Now, just if you haven't seen it, I saw a news report this morning where the company that's putting out his movie, The Hateful Eight, the Weinstein company, says, you know what, he has a right to say what he wants, but we've also heard behind the scenes, they're saying, how can we salvage this, because this is a public relations disaster going on right now. I think a lot of people are a little surprised he'd make the comments when he did. But do you find, and this is just speculative, but is there a Hollywood movement, a feel against some in Hollywood against police officers? Is that too broad a stroke, or do you find that there is a leftist view in Hollywood that seems to feed into this anti-police officer sentiment?
Well, that's a great question. I think there is the liberals everywhere, not just Los Angeles or San Francisco or Oakland. They've always been against the police. It's an anarchy. They don't want anyone telling them what to do. They want to be able to, and this has been going on for many, many years, way before the Black Lives Matter. There have been more police executed this year to date, than ever before. Now we have less police being killed this year to date. We still have 2 years left in the month, or 2 months left in the year. But we are seeing police who have been killed execution style, which we have not seen that before. Laying in wait, like those officers in New York City. So when you want to look,
yeah, go ahead.
when you want to look at statistics, people of the liberal, that side will throw back statistics saying, well, there's less, less police have been killed this year. Well, more police have been killed in a savage execution style than ever before.
Tell me the personal effect that is having on you and perhaps your husband as well. What does that do for your lifestyle, your whole relationship?
It's a terrible strain. It really is. And I'm a member of the Bay Area Police Wives, Blue Lives Bay Area Blue Wives Association. And it's really, I've worked in Wall Street. I've worked on Wall Street. I've worked in some very, big, huge firms. I've never seen anywhere in my workplace where people come together and support one another. It's an amazing brotherhood that they have. So I feel in this sisterhood of the Blue Wives, it's something I've never had before. It's amazing to be able to talk to other people who feel exactly the same way as you do.
Now, outside of those people directly associated with the police, do you feel you're getting support?
Yes and no. My liberal friends, they don't support and then my conservative friends, of course. So it's, it's really strange. Like, we just had a cop that was killed over the summer in July, and then everybody comes together for that, and now it's forgotten. Nobody can even tell you what his name is. So it's a terrible. My husband said he's never seen morale this low in 19 years, and nationwide, it's the lowest they've ever seen in job applicants to be a police officer. Nationwide, it's down like 38%.
Are you a little surprised to see this come along the lines of liberal and conservative? Because that seems to be the dividing line. Does that surprise you?
Well, when we have a president who doesn't support our police, let's face it, it starts at the top.
So you're seeing this even from the Justice Department all the way down when Eric Holder was in and so on, that and President Obama, you're seeing that spill-off effect having it right down to the beat officer.
Well, when the President of the United States sends White House representatives to the thugs who were killed by police and it was ruled a legitimate killing, when he sends representatives to their funerals, and not one single representative to any of these cops who've been killed over this year. What does that tell you?
What do you think needs to happen to change this divisive situation we find ourselves in?
We've got to elect a leader who is going to support our police. And I'm not choosing or standing by a leader. I'm not picking a leader, or I'm not picking a candidate or anything, but Donald Trump has thanked and mentioned the police and our first responders far more than I've ever seen President Obama do it. We have to start at the top. You have to. Don't you agree? It's the most important.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you, Jerry Brown, the governor of California there, could he be doing more, do you think? You're in the Oakland area. Do you think more could come from him that could help this situation, or does it have to go all the way up to the president?
Well, of course. Now, Jerry Brown just recently made it legal to have a cell phone and video and lights going while you're being arrested. So now we have cops on the street that you pull over a car full of punks that most of these cops know these guys. They've arrested them before. And they've got cell phones going off with, the lights and everything is going off. And our police are trying, there's one cop to a car, and there's, these kids that are videotaping this and then sending it off to the media, spliced and diced however they want to do it. And as my husband says, it's the last thing you need is a video camera going off in your face when you don't know what the kid's pulling out. Is it a gun? Is it a video camera? There's lights everywhere. It's just ridiculous.
And this is something officers have not had to really face until just the last few years, really, isn't it?
Well, the last couple of months, Jerry Brown just made it legal. So, it would be, the officer would say, please put away your video camera, and a respectable person would say, I'm sorry, of course, let me put this away. But that's not what our police are dealing with now. That's absolutely not. These punks are out there just getting these cops so riled up so that they can create a situation and have it go viral. That's their thing now.
Do you think there's something that the average person can do? Because they may be saying, well, I could write a letter to the president or whatever. Is there something that we, as the public, can do to help officers in the field?
Go and thank your police department. Go down to your local police department and thank them. Go thank a police officer. We have one day of the year where this year it was in September, National Thank Police Officer Day. Every day should be thank a police officer or a first responder, fireman, any of these men or women who are out there every day. I tell people who speak about my husband and he makes too much money and, his insurance and blah, blah, blah. I tell them all, go take a ride along with him at midnight in Oakland, and you will think 100% differently. Believe me.
So that personal touch, it really does mean a lot to the officers. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
It really does. I mean, my husband has had little kids come up to him in the street hungry, and he's taken them to, a fast food restaurant to get them something to eat. I mean, people don't see that. They want to see the brutality. They want to see the police beating down somebody, and that's not what's happening out there. It's just not. It's a small percentage that somebody has been able to make it go viral, and it's not right.
Maureen, I appreciate you being with us. Maureen Ennor is a Blue Wife. It's the organization of those who are supporters and relatives also of police officers, also the co-host of a radio show called California Connection. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You bet. Stay tuned. More coming up on Focus Today.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at theDove TV. Did you know that when you support theDove TV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.